Renaud Chantraine. I'm running my second year of PhD in social anthropology about the making of LGBTQ heritage. I have integrated the MuCEM, Museum of Civilizations of Europe and the Mediterranean a few months ago, so I'm not really like strongly based museum professional, to work on a collection, on a program, and on an exhibition project about AIDS. To present briefly my institution, it's an heritage of what we call a society museum. It opened in 2013 and it inherited the collection of the National Museum of Arts and Popular Tradition, which was in Paris, and now it's in Marseille. So the bigger scope concerns an international, a trans-historical, and a multidisciplinary approach. It's supposed to host all expression of material and immaterial culture that is reflected on the 9 poles of collection of the museum. You have here some examples. You have here all the poles like mobility, public life, agriculture, so it's both material and immaterial approaches. And a few examples of the latest exhibition, just the Gender Bazaar, an exhibition about football, an exhibition about life of garbages, for example. The project I would like to introduce you is like really fresh, and so it's a work in progress, so probably it's not like very clear yet, but maybe you can ask a question after. So it's a very complex illustration that represents the core of the project is a big collection we have through a survey acquisition campaign, which is a principal operation of the museum. This operation involves developing ethnographic surveys for the purposes of observing a social phenomenon, which also reporting materials and immaterial testimonies like interviews, films, photographs, and objects. Upstream, it implies to define the research object. So from 1984 to 2002, a series of meetings and debates has been organized at the Museum of Art and Popular Tradition, gathering a diversity of social actors. So there are people living with AIDS, caregivers, AIDS activists, like associations, and academics and museum professionals, all engaged in different levels of the struggle against the epidemic. I just would like to add that AIDS is a very serious and sensitive subject, but it's also probably can be linked with super diversity in the way that it's the people concerned with it, the key population, are kind of majority of minorities, and I will develop this idea later. So those contacts and knowledges produced in the first phase of the process allowed a team of anthropologists from the museum to initiate the process of the survey acquisition campaign, which was called History and Memories of the Struggle Against AIDS in France, Europe, and Mediterranean. And it's almost 12,000 artifacts that have been collecting during this period. And now the museum has closed, has changed, and it reopened in 2013. And now we are in a new phase, which is the valorization process. And to accomplish this valorization process and to help the museum thinking of this, we have created a community committee and another series of study days which are linked with a kind of knowledge we need. And I will just tell you a bit more about the community committee. So the AIDS crisis is like major and multi-dimensional contemporary phenomenon which has profoundly marked our modern societies. It's it's at once biological, medical, social, and political issues, and it particularly touches already marginalized community like homosexuals, migrants, drug users, sex worker, hemophils, etc. What I wanted to say is that the survey acquisition campaign, which was based on the association, so it had contact with some of these communities, constitutes a majority of the collection, but it's not really a unified history or narrative. It's more an archiving process, a collection of memories from different countries, from different positions, and different kind of traces. And it's necessarily incomplete. So, how a museum can reflect so an exhibition the complexity and multivoicity of such a sensitive and still active subject, and how the community committee, composed by a diversity of situated experiences and backgrounds, all differently related to the struggle against AIDS, can work together with the museum to create bridge and transversality between those specific memories. And maybe a win-win situation, even if it's like a work in progress, so it's a bit difficult for us to know exactly what will be the consequences. Usually the musealization process is a very particular moment marked by, in traditional institutions, marked by a separation between source communities and artifacts. And then the museum holds the authority. In the AIDS project at the MuCEM, the coexistence of, it was here, in fact, here you have the collection, and here you have the collection. This, it's doubles, it's 3,000 objects that are not inscripted in the heritage list, but that are available for the source community to a number of uses possible, especially the possibility to reactivate and to reconnect with those artifacts. Used by both the source community and the museum as tool and a laboratory of experimentation, it could offer both a model of shared authority and a way to create bridges between different memories, public and communities. Thank you.